Today, I want to share with you something so amazing. A what? A piece of news? It's not enough. A state of being, a frequency, a knowing, an understanding, all of the above, because it is absolutely the biggest piece of news. It is 100% a solution, especially to the healers out there. And I'm not talking about the healers, those who went through a certification and they got their diploma. I'm talking about all the healers, because this whatever this is that suffering, the way we came into contact with it, the way we met it, the way we processed it, the way we viewed it, is completing. And I know I've talked about it before. If you look through my videos, or if you've been following me, but that was a knowing. I could see it coming. I just still didn't know how it was possible. And I got to this place of such collective suffering, because I think I'm speaking for so many of us that personally, we have mastered enough to create harmony or keep returning to a harmonious state, regardless of the unbalance that is happening in our life, right? We have reached a mastery of introspection, meditation, the regulation of our nervous system, all that stuff, to return to that inner balance, inner clarity. So, not that our life is 100% good, but if we are good within the unknown, within the unfolding, we're just releasing. You get the point. The larger suffering that's been unfolding, and again, with the healers that I'm talking about, especially if you're doing collective consciousness work, right? And how do you know you're doing that? Well, I don't have to tell you, I think, right? But because at night, your consciousness is hijacked, your sleep is hijacked, right? And you're in this dimension and in this dimension, and you're doing something, you're kind of aware of it, but you're waking up so tired, right? And more recently, it's not just that the night it's been hijacked, but the day is hijacked, because your capacity to operate, which is basically subconscious bandwidth, is literally being hijacked. And who knows what you're doing, right? You are literally downloading codes. You are transmuting energy from different dimensions. You are transmuting energy between people. You are doing grid work. Who knows, right? There's just so much variety of the different energetic work that you could be doing. And obviously you're doing it. You don't even have to be 100% conscious of what it is that you're doing, but because your energy is somewhere else. Also, that group that I'm talking about, I feel like watching, right? Because you're good with you. Now you get to observe what's happening with others around you, what's happening in the neighborhood, in the city, in the country, in the world. And that suffering, for me at least, it's almost, well, it's not, it's worse than when I was going through personal suffering. And for me, I have days when that is crippling. It takes me down to my knees, and I have capacity. I can transmute, and I can work with energy. One-on-one work, that is easy. I can do it all day. But when we're talking multidimensional, and I don't know what it is, for me personally, it is when waves of masculine suffering comes through, I become a complete mush. I mean, forget the self-regulation, forget my meditation. I cannot do anything. I can just sit there and sob for hours. Typically 2-3 days, I'm out of commission. And again, I don't know if this is how it is, because I really perceive the way the feminine processes suffering. It is so much more dynamic. I feel the feminine has, or is, I'm going to say, she's closer to resourcefulness, but there's always movement to the point of chaos, right? So if pressure or stress is put onto the feminine, her suffering is in movement all the way until bursting out. There's some type of breakthrough, some type of explosion, right? But there's dynamic movement always. The masculine, oh my goodness, I've never experienced the suffering, a worse suffering. And I mean, my karmic line alone, talking about hell, masculine suffering for me is just layer on top of layer on top of layer. It's like elk energy, if that means anything to you, like this stamina to just carry and not express, and taking on responsibility. It's responsibility, the responsibility of their failures, the responsibility of other people's failures, and they just carry and carry in stillness, in darkness, without expression. They're just, and when the light hits this type of subconscious, the suffering that emanates from that, it is unbearable to me. It is unbearable. I cannot handle it. And I know what suffering is. Suffering is simply entropy. It is the byproduct. It is a mechanism. It is nothing to worry about. It is actually sorrow, right? Or the Three of Swords. It is such a fertile ground. It is the womb of creation. It is not a bad place to be in. It just feels, anyway, I think you get the point. I don't even know how I got there. It's me venting at this point. The fact that we no longer have to meet it in the same way to feel it all over. And part of it, I get it, how personal it was for me, because I had to understand the difference, right, between feminine and masculine. And it was through viewing and experiencing that intense suffering that I could mellow out my feminine. And I can easily see it if we take the energy and put it into men and women. And the men, at least in my experience that I get to interact with, those men who are off balance and they're more into their masculine, they're suffering. I'm not saying that women can't suffer or anything like that. I'm just saying many women, especially the women who are into their feminine, they have no understanding the male suffering that is going on. And I'm saying that not as a judgment, just from my own observation. I had no understanding, because if you're not looking at these things energetically and have capacity to understand them energetically, you just can't possibly understand. So I'm looking at this whole deal, right? The more feminine one is, the more masculine one is, the misunderstanding is insane. And this is the solution to the suffering is harmony. And it's not a sentence. It's not maintaining harmony. It's not creating, it's not upkeeping, it's not whatever. Harmonizing harmony. It is harmony. But it is such a different type of harmony that we understand. It's the same with hope, right? This harmony that I'm talking about, it is in unity. It doesn't mean that conflict does not exist. Tension. I'm going to just reframe conflict as tension. And what's feminine and masculine, right? It's the definition of polarity, positive and negative, right? It's the engine of creation. That tension, just because it is, doesn't mean is outside of harmony. It is our interpretation that, oh, tension, 180, opposite, polarity, conflict, bad. And from that, all kinds of misunderstanding shows up in the most varied and the most bizarre way of expressing itself. So here we are watching this insanity, and yet we're doing some work consciously, unconsciously, at night, during the day, but the suffering is unbearable. Well, feel into it. You might know it. You might feel it. You might be right here with me. And if not, I'm saying it's already here. I want you to, I don't know how, it's not, I don't know if it's teachable. You're just allowed, you surrender to it. Because harmony. Once you are in this harmony, and another parallel I want to create here to better understand this harmony, maybe, is ascended masters. I don't know if you had this question. When I was young, I could not understand why ascended masters, which they've walked this plane, they understand the suffering that we're going through. Why are they not helping in a more real way, palpable, solid way? Because harmony. Now I get it. It's easy. Once the alignment of the self enters resonance as stability, right? You're not just in and out. You're not just visiting, but you're at home. You stabilized in this harmony. You won't get back. Not just you won't come back to a lower frequency. You can't. You can't because the force is not the same, if that makes sense. Another little parenthesis, I was doing Joe Dispenza's walk. I was at his retreat. We were doing the walking meditation. And the retreat center was right next to the airport. At that moment, a jet was taking off right above me, basically. And I could feel the jets. And when you're in that radiant state, everything is amplified, right? So the thunder was coming through my entire body. I'm like, oh wow, what a powerful power. And the response was, that is the weakest power there is in the universe. And I understood little by little what that meant. And now I'm understanding it even more. Because when we say the word power, that's our language now, right? We have a perception, an idea of what power is. And in this harmony that I'm talking about, it's a completely different consciousness. The power that we call power, like these bombs that are falling, like these points of suffering that are registering as points of suffering, to the available perception field that does not have the same power anymore to register the same way. And this is very, very important because, am I calling us ascended masters? Yeah, I think I am. because because I'm seeing how we have the duty, finally, I'm coming on board now, to maintain the work that we're doing. Did I choose to be a healer? Heck no. I was actually refusing it. I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. What's going on? This is not, no. So it was such a pull to get me to do this type of work, and the doubt and all the things that I had to overcome, right? And I'm not alone in all this, right? A lot of these healers have not consciously chosen. But now I'm seeing how, oh, this is a group project more and more. I mean, and I've known it's a group project. It's a group project. And you've done this work because otherwise we wouldn't be here. But now you're doing this willingly and more eagerly because you can. The suffering is no longer crippling you. And the place you're doing it from is from radiance. Will you be understood? Is your discernment and your distance while you're doing this radiant work accepted? No. Like 20 years ago, no, I did not understand. Why are you not getting involved? Why are you not meeting me in my suffering? And it's not that I'm not understanding your suffering. I don't have to, if I come down from this place of harmony, collective subconscious harmony, I cannot do the same amount of powerful work that I can do from radiance, even though that might not translate to you as such a localized effect. The work that we're doing is much broader within a different force field, if that makes sense. And it keeps us going. I'll give you another example why this is such an amazing solution. About a year ago, I think it was around the Lions Gate, because Lyrant, I still remember this Lyran warrior being at the gate. And I actually have an activation. It was a YouTube channeling as well, so I'll see if I can find it and I'll link it. But it's this room, and there's this seating with these special chairs. It's not a circle per se. It's more an oval actually. And in the center of this room, it's very dark, is this glass fixture. Kind of reminds me of a lighthouse type light with those little lights to amplify and shine light in all the directions. And the meditation a year ago was, we all, I don't even remember if I was a participant and I took a seat, or I was just viewing this, but I remember as if I'm viewing it from a third person. People were taking their seats in this first row. At that time, I didn't realize that there were multiple rows. There was just one row of seating. This light appeared from the cosmos and activated the glass fixture and amplified that light and created an activation within the people who sat in these special seats. And the seats themselves had some neuro network, whatever connection into the chakra system of the body. So it was a very complex healing room. About a month ago, I meditated and I went back to this room, and I immediately recognized it. I remembered it very precisely. There was nobody there, except this time I'm shown that it's not just one row of seating around this light fixture. It is thousands of empty seats. It is this huge amphitheater. And I'm already freaking out because I know what this means. And then I'm being shown that it's me. I'm the descending light. And the only thing that I have to do, it's so easy, is to hold the self-alignment and shine the light. That's it. Just shine the light that I've become. This whole thing was, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. And the sorrow, and it's, see, this is the trick with this. The thing hasn't occurred yet. I'm just given a potential happening. And my body is completely freaking out because I've had enough experiences where I've done the collective work, and I'm also there to feel the byproduct, the suffering that is emanating as the light shines onto collective. And I get out immediately. I say no to that. I cry for 2 hours. I'm a big mess for the next 3 days. I'm like, no, because I don't know how it can be. I cannot take this amount of suffering. So it's not mine. I'm out of it. And now I got my answer. And I know that this is for everybody. We are so tired. We're exhausted. That's why, like, this is such a big news. But oh my God, I can't even, and I feel good in my body. I'm very energetic. Just when it comes to collective work, I'm exhausted. But now I see how. Now I understand, because this frequency of this collective harmonious consciousness creates such separation. I mean, to the point where I'm seeing my 20-year-old me listening to this message and giving me feedback saying, oh my God, I so understand. I thank you so much. There's so much hope. I can keep going. I can I resonate with this so much. And me looking on to her, I can say that, oh my God, you're so far away. Even though you resonate with what I'm saying and you understand it at some level, what I'm saying, you're very, very far away. We are so separated in this harmony because it's an integrated unity consciousness, right? And conflict is part of the definition of what unity is, right? With the definition of love, the union, the lover's card is the harmonious union of opposites. So by definition, there is tension, but this tension is not affecting us. It's simply a tool It's like the new exchange. So you can see how, again, masters say, but everything is in order. There is no problem. There is no issue. If there is an issue, it's just in your perspective. Yeah. And we know that as something we read, that's something that it's being repeated. Because this is happening to me, it is happening because I know that I'm so average. I'm so common in my uniqueness because I feel the rest. I feel the rest of the team, if that makes sense, right? And and that's it. That's it. We can keep going and we can keep unfolding the creation because uh, the rest from where we came from, which is hurtful, it hasn't been easy, can no longer reach us. The separation is so clear, right? It is a completely different state. It is a completely different world. And that's all I have for you today. So thank you. Thank you. And I'll see you around.